Hey everyone, today I want to talk about journaling, and it's something that I've been trying to do for a long time now, but I never seem to be able to actually keep doing it. I want to keep track of the things that happen in my life, that happen at my work, pretty much anything that happens during the day, and I want to be able to remember what I do today and what happens today, 6 months from now, or maybe a year from now. Um, it's not just the day-to-day stuff like eating habits or other things like that, but also work-related stuff. I mean, as a programmer, I do a ton of research every single day, finding out new libraries to use, experimenting with new software, stuff like that. And all of this information gets stored in our heads, but we 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 lose track of what's really important about that information. It's usually just a command or two or a paragraph of documentation. Um, so we forget about that stuff really soon, and we have to do the research again as soon as we struggle with the same thing. Um, yeah, I'm really bad at keeping track of stuff like that. I mean, there's all this technology out in the world, and I'm still struggling to stay on top of everything. Um, but yeah, even with all this technology, journaling in its basic form is really simple. So why is it so hard for me? First, let's have a closer look at what journaling is and what it means for me. There are two things that I want to keep track of. One is the day-to-day things, the stuff that happens, a funny picture here and there, I don't know, everything. And the other end is the research that I do. But in its basic form, journaling is just write down a couple of lines every single day, like in a diary really. Um, you just want to remember what happens today and be able to look back at it. You build an archive over time that you can use. Modern technology makes it really easy to always and everywhere be able to journal. I mean, it's, for example, take Evernote, you can attach pictures, images, PDFs, web pages, whatever you name it, and you can just attach it to a note and it gets stored there, and you can search it and you do whatever you want to do with a journal really. But somehow I seem to struggle with Evernote. Well, to be honest, I'm not struggling with just Evernote, I struggle with basically any tool, and it's not really about the tools, it's the mindset behind journaling that I now really have to force myself to do something, while ideally it should be part of what you do every single day. It should be natural to, as soon as something happens or you find something useful, you need to capture that moment and put it in your journal. I even tried pen and paper, and that doesn't really work out with a lot of the research that I do. So I think I'm going back to Evernote, but yeah, it's going to be a struggle. I really need to work on motivating myself, because I know how rewarding it is to find your own documentation about something that you wrote like a year ago, and you can actually use it. You found the solution within seconds of finding that same problem that you vaguely remember in the back of your mind that you ever struggled with before, and then you can use your own documentation to solve the problem right away. Well, the idea to start doing this, it's because of Matt Medeiros wrote a blog post, well, he published it today, which is about journaling, where he explains why he does it and what benefits he gets from it. And that really hit home for me. I mean, he struggles with the exact same things that I find myself struggling with. Matt is a really clever guy, and I like to listen to what smarter people do, how they use tools. I mean, Matt does a ton of things. He does podcast, blog posts, and then I'm just covering the surface of what he's doing. yeah, and he does a weekly review based on his journal entries to look what he's been doing, what he's going to do in the next week. You should read his blog post about it. It's really valuable information there. Yeah, he uses his journal to stay on top of things, so he knows exactly what's going on. And he can also look back in 6 months from now. But maybe the most important lesson that his blog post teach me is that you don't write to a bigger audience, you write just for yourself. It's not about how many people read your journal entries, because there will always be one, and that's yourself. You write it just for yourself and for nobody else. So yeah, I'm going to try journaling again. I mean, I'm going to start using Evernote again, even though I have a really, well, it's a love-hate relationship between Evernote and myself. But I really want to collect an archive and see what's going on now, and so I can look back in 6 months from now and really see what I've been struggling with and what I've been working on and what was happening in my life. So yeah, please, next week, next month, do ask me if I'm still journaling, and ask me how it's going to keep me motivated.